Live from London, it's Plank of the Week with Kevin O'Sullivan.
There you are. Welcome to another brilliant edition of Plank of the Week. And what a panel I've got for you this week. The great Peter Bleksley, the remarkable Mark Dolan, rising politician Russell Quirk, and comedian, but not in a good way, Dave Chawner. Right, let's get right on with it. I think you're first, Peter.
Mustafa Taskarin, a 49-year-old man of Turkish origin.
Welsh choir boy.
There we can see him there.
Almost.
Doctor.
Bit of a heartthrob,
Yeah.
Yep.
Brain surgeon.
Yeah.
Granted indefinite leave to remain in the United Kingdom as far back as 1994, since when he rewarded Great Britain by embarking on a life of crime. He has accumulated over 50 criminal convictions, and it's been decreed that lawyers now can have a chat amongst themselves to see how much compensation Mustafa Taskarin will be granted. After the hearing, he was then convicted of yet another 2 criminal offences, stalking a woman and possession of a knife, and yet still he is in line to receive some compensation.
Oh, what's he still doing in this country? We tried to deport him, I think it was 2004. For some reason, we didn't. Then he went on to commit rape, did 7 years. We tried to deport him after that. We didn't. He's still here, and now we're going to have to give him money because his electronic tag, makes him depressed.
As we descend down this slippery slope of nonsense, that we're going to get to a position where actually criminals can advance an argument in court that actually they shouldn't be convicted at all because it might in some way be degrading or humiliating.
Well, that's exactly right. Don't forget,
I think it's only a matter of time.
Those jail cells are very claustrophobic.
I know.
Okay, the bunk beds have got a very uncomfortable mattress, and also how annoying, right? Your flat screen telly, you've only got Sky News, which is very woke. So I sympathise with these criminals. I can't lie.
No, that's punishment enough.
Yeah. He's probably got a gluten intolerance as well, Dave.
I was going to say, that was the thing of like, if he's vegan in a prison, then good luck to him.
And you know why we can't deport him?
Yeah.
Because Turkey have revoked his citizenship. So where are we going to send him?
It's not encouraging, is it?
I know where we should send him to that Syrian desert camp where Shamima Begum lives, because she hasn't got a state either.
Well, I don't know if you saw it in the press yesterday, this week, there was advertised off the coast of Essex a private island, which actually has got a derelict fort on it. And it made me think, actually, it's only 50 grand, by the way. Why don't we buy it? Why doesn't the government buy it? And a bit like, you remember that film back in the 80s, Escape to New York with Kurt Russell? Why don't we just stick all the criminals, particularly those that perhaps shouldn't be here because, as you say, we gave them out of our own good grace leave to remain and they've abused that particular gesture. Stick them on an island with a big fence round it.
Or what about this? You know, ratings for I'm a Celebrity have dipped a little bit this series, right? Why don't we have a permanent I'm a Celebrity for unwanted foreign criminals? Okay, Bush Tiger trials every day, and we'll make money from the advertising. People will watch it. It'll be great entertainment.
I know what to do.
Surround it with razor wire and snarl in Alsatian.
Exactly right. I know what to do about I'm a Celebrity. You need to rename it. I've seen the lineup this year. Rename it I Want to Be a Celebrity. And you're not and it's looking like a long shot as far as I can work out. Now, talking of migrants, our new hardline, tough as nails, hard as old boots. That's the wrong way round, isn't it? Hard as nails, tough as old boots. Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood with her absolutely rip-roaring series of proposals to crack down on our crisis, our asylum seeker crisis, which, by the way, won't work because she won't leave the ECHR, the European Convention on Human Rights. She's got a bit of a background, but do we trust this woman to really crack down? I mean, this was a woman who 10 years ago was seen handing out food parcels to illegal migrants pouring into the Greek islands from sub-Saharan Africa and the Middle East. And furthermore, here she is with another very, very liberal idea about what to do with our asylum seekers.
Specific plans regarding amnesty for undocumented workers. Myself personally, as a Labour backbench Member of Parliament, I do support a general amnesty for all people who are already in the country.
Yeah, I really trust this woman to sort the migrant crisis out. Yeah,
she's
right.
She's changed her tune, hasn't she, Kev? I wonder why.
Yes,
do you think she's trying to out-reform the popularity?
If you actually look at her reforms, her alleged reforms, they're actually an enshrinement of our amnesty system forever. They're not really a crackdown. She won't get them through anyway.
Well, no, all the other Labour backbenchers have pretty much all of them said that they're not going to support
She
her.
might be able to get it through on the parliamentary vote, but then the ECHR will scup her. So it's all... If you don't leave the ECHR, there's no solution to all this. Let's move on. Mark, I think you've got big hand.
I got big news. The Ginger Growler is back. That's right. The Sharon Stone Tribute Act that is Angela Rayner, former Housing Secretary, of course, former Deputy Prime Minister, is going to make a return to frontline politics as
she thinks
the Prime Minister. Yeah. The interesting thing about her is that she's a disgraced politician who didn't pay stamp duty on her house. Back in 2010, she'd had a couple of properties. We didn't know where she lived. She's got more addresses than an international spy. But what she has got is charisma, personality, and the cut-through to attract voters.
Hang on, were you serious then?
I 100%.
Charisma and personality.
She has.
Angela Rayner.
She's the only one that
next,
goes.
Russell, what have you got? Not listening anymore of this claptrap.
No,
she's got about as much personality as an earthworm.
No. See, this is wishful thinking on your
Rubbish.
part.
You're such a lefty.
No, you don't understand, right?
I don't like left-wingers on plank.
Her policies are terrible. But she is a popular figure. She makes
she hasn't got any charisma.
You know what
though.
she is? She is the Boris of the left.
Yeah.
Okay?
And how did that work out?
Not very well, because he was left-wing too.
Well, Boris is the Boris of the left as well. He's a left-winger.
100%.
And when it comes to lifting people out of poverty, look how she's lifted Angela Rayner out of poverty.
Yeah.
No,
by the way, she hasn't paid back that 40 grand stamp duty that she avoided. So she's making this a bid for the leadership. She wants to be our new supreme leader, get rid of that idiot Starmer. I'd probably just about prefer that, because you're right, it would be a bit more entertaining. But she can't surely do that until she pays her debt to the Exchequer.
Yeah, but you see, the Labour Party are so morally bankrupt that they won't care about that, right? They see her as a working-class heroine. That's been a victim. She's had a terrible life. She's had to drag herself up. So they don't care. Don't forget, the left are not the good people. They like to pretend that they're sort of on the moral high ground. It's not true.
Yeah.
They would elect her. No, the issue you've got, right, she is the Heineken politician. She will reach the apart.
She drinks a lot of Heineken.
Well, she does.
Yes, she does seem to drink quite a lot.
She does look like a woman that drinks pints, so we'll give you that.
Well, no, did you see her when she bought that now controversial Hove seaside apartment? She went out in some rubber dinghy, again. Not good optics under the circumstances on the sea. And she's sitting there with this sort of gasp of cigarette and a goblet of wine about the size of the Isle of Wight. It was about that big, you know. So I think she likes to drink.
Well, she's a character, right? She's got something about her. You know, she's box office, right? I mean, don't get me wrong.
Stop this. No, she's not. What a load of crap.
She is. And
No, she's not, Mark. Russell, what do you think? I'm not listening anymore.
I'm not saying the policies are good.
I'm not the fanboy on Angela Rayner that perhaps Mark Dolan.
Exactly.
No. What do we
the rest of
is there a plank coming?
No.
We haven't actually heard why she's a
Big
plank.
Russell Quirk, right? I don't like the woman, but I'm saying that she's got a knack of making headlines. She's
For the wrong reason.
Can I say she's an SHIT disturber, right? She's actually, this is a woman.
But she's a joke.
Keir
It's a
Starmer.
parody.
Yeah. You're right. I agree with you, Russell.
She'll be a terrible Prime Minister, but don't get me wrong. She is somebody.
But it'll be funny.
It'll be funny. Starmer tried to sack
That's
her.
what we want.
Keir
Yeah,
Starmer,
that's what
right?
we want, yeah.
The cervix-free Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, tried to sack her. The result of that was she got multiple promotions and he couldn't sack her at all. Yeah. So she always gets the last laugh and she'll make headlines. I don't think she'd win the next election, but it'd be a very interesting couple of years if she was PM.
I mean, it doesn't matter who's the leader of the Labour Party, they're not going to win the election.
Well, anyway, here's some...
Doesn't matter who it is.
Dave, you probably wanted to be PM, don't you?
Check this guy out. This is the other contender for number 10 Downing Street, Crazy Ed Miliband.
We're building the first fleet of SMRs in North Wales, creating 3,000 jobs, clean, homegrown power for energy security, jobs, and to tackle the climate crisis.
He's a catastrophe, right? Okay, there's an argument that we should all hope he does become Prime Minister, because then there will never be a Labour government ever again.
You've got to worry about the fella, haven't you?
Same deal for Angela Rayner. Yeah.
I seriously worry about him.
I do too.
I think he needs to see a doctor.
Yeah. He's crazy, literally insane. I mean, I mean, I suppose that's almost a qualification for number 10 Downing Street these days. Russell, it is your turn. Who have you got?
Yeah, so talking of Labour Party members that wish perhaps potentially to be the next Prime Minister, Sadiq Khan, an old favourite of this show, of course, Sadiq Khan. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not making some moves to somehow come back to Parliament in a by-election so that he can be Prime Minister. I think he would be far worse than your mate Angela Rayner or our friend Keir Starmer, far, far worse, because of clearly the way that he has destroyed London in many, many, many respects, including including with the extension to the congestion zone, the introduction of ULEZ and so on. And this is why he is my plank of this particular week, although he's actually often plank of every week, isn't he?
Yeah, and he mocked
He's
Susan Hall.
always hovering there.
He mocked Susan Hall for looking into the
Let me explain
gangs.
why. So this is the guy that set out the congestion charge with a view to it doing two things. A, stopping congestion, which it hasn't done, by the way, and extending it to also try and prevent more congestion, which it hasn't achieved. But also, along with the fateful ULEZ, to try and bring about a reduction in poor air quality in London. Now, of course, the air quality in London has been improving and improving and improving year after year, decade after decade, no matter what. Let's be very clear. The reason Sadiq Khan loves things like ULEZ and congestion charges and 20-mile-an-hour speeding limits is because it's that. It's money. It's money. So the combined income to the mayoral office of all of those things, so speeding fines, ULEZ and congestion charge, is just under £1 billion a year. Wow. So what has he decided to do? Because, of course, he can't rinse...
Needs more, right? Needs more.
He is now going to increase the congestion charge from £15 to £18, which is a 20% increase. So £3 might not seem very much, but if you're a white van driver, a delivery driver working for yourself, that's suddenly got to pay that every day of the week. It's a 20% rise. It's real money. But here's the thing, the real reason I think he's a plank is because we have been, if you like, as a sustainability-focused society, really down with the kids when it comes to sustainability, and particularly around motoring and EVs, electronic vehicles, because they're going to save the planet, Dave, apparently. So the electric vehicle fraternity have been exempt from the congestion charge and ULEZ. No longer.
Yeah,
no longer.
Good.
The mask has slipped on the whole environmental bullshit, if I may say, on the basis that Sadiq Khan is now going to charge people even if they're in an electric vehicle. So this is, to me, the personification, the underlining, the validation of the fact that this was never about the environment, this was never about air quality. No. It's only ever been about rinsing London for more and more
Absolutely.
money.
I've just got to make an apology. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very sorry that Russell Quirk said bullshit.
I'm a proud South Londoner, and our local newspaper, which has been reduced to being online only, today conducted a poll on Sadiq Khan with the question, do South East Londoners like Sadiq Khan? 83% of us voted no.
Who are the 17%?
I'll be having a word a bit later on with him.
He's the worst thing about Sadiq Khan I've seen recently, on another issue, really. I mean, he's awful on everything. What was he doing in Brazil? Wasting all that money, saving the planet, flying out there. His air miles are extraordinary.
Yeah.
He flies all over the place.
Almost as
trying
bad
to
as Keir
save the planet.
Starmer's.
But the worst thing I've seen about this guy recently was at the London Assembly that he presides over. Susan Hall, the Tory leader, saying, look, Sadiq, Mr. Khan, Sir Sadiq, or whatever you call yourself these days, pipsqueak, we've got a rape gang problem here in London. Why wouldn't we? We've got a rape gang problem everywhere else in the country, so why would the capital be exempt? What are you doing about this? And he kept going, I'm not sure what the Honourable Lady means. She said rape gangs, rape gangs, grooming gangs. Does she mean county lines? No. Sadiq, I don't know if you've seen it in the newspapers, on the television, on the radio. The rape gang scandal. He's pretending it's not happening in London.
He's pretending he doesn't even know what they are.
He's pretending he's never heard of it. What's that about?
And how many cases are the Metropolitan Police
9,000.
now investigating? 9,000.
Yeah.
And, of course, the Weasel Khan has had to retract and, of course, acknowledge that there is such a problem in our capital city.
What effectively is the mayor, of course, in London is the police and crime commission.
Yes, exactly right, Russell.
So he must be pretty incompetent not to know that there's 9,000 of these cases being investigated by his own force.
It's a great oversight that they're allowed more than 2 terms, don't you think? Because unfortunately, London is now so catastrophically left-wing that if he wanted to stay, he'd be mayor for the rest of his life.
I'm afraid I think the electorate get what they deserve. If they want to keep voting for an idiot, then idiots will prevail.
Yeah, but the thing about London, like New York, which has just voted in a communist lunatic, Mamdani, people go, oh, London, look at all these billionaires, Mayfair, flash houses costing 50 million and all that. Well, yeah, that's a part of the town. That's a part of the city. But the majority of people who live in London are hard up. They're poverty-stricken. And when you're poor in a place like London, where prices are astronomical, it makes life very, very difficult. So the mayor has always got an inbuilt majority. You're always going to have a Labour majority in a city like London.
Yeah.
Boris Johnson bucked the trend. I wonder, Layla Cunningham for reform next election, I wonder if she might. But I doubt it. I doubt it.
The trouble is,
she's great.
The trouble in recent mayoral elections is that the suburbs don't give a toss, right? They think that, OK, the block vote in Tower Hamlets and such like will get whoever they want in. So what any candidate for London mayor has got to do is engage, wake up and motivate the suburban population all the way around the city. Johnson did that, and if another candidate can do that, then we might just elbow him out.
Exactly right. Well, we better move on. And next it's Dave Chawner, and you've got, oh, Mandy, you came and you saw.
I feel like
Lord Mandelson.
Lord Mandelson, I feel like I misjudged that. I remember
No, sorry, I'm going to do that again. Lord Mandelson. If we can get rid of Prince Andrew's title and reduce him to Andrew, why has Mandelson still got his title? Let's get rid of that. But sorry, carry on.
No, not at all. So mine is a lot more sort of
I like your
light-hearted.
reason. I like your reason a lot.
So basically, Lord Mandelson has done something, and I kind of feel bad for even lodging this, because basically he was caught short after going out with George Osborne the other day. He'd had a bit to drink.
There is, look at him there.
And he was found and fined £300 for public urination.
Yeah, and he apologised.
Can I say that's quite a flattering pixelation?
Wow, lucky boy.
Yeah.
I've
I've never seen his majority before.
My takeaway on this is this is a guy, right? He barely ever puts a foot right in life. Everything he ever does is a scandal. You know, there was the house in Notting Hill.
Fired from
there was the
cabinet twice.
Hinduja brothers fired from Washington.
Is it wrong?
Yeah, everything he does, he gets caught. He can't even take a piss against the wall without getting caught. The guy is a disaster.
The thing that I find weird about this is that I used to live in a place where people would urinate openly, endemically, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Just your flat.
Where was this, Bromley?
In South London. Yeah.
It was Bromley.
And people would just do that. I've never heard of anyone getting a fine for this.
Well, his story was this, that he'd been at his friend George Osborne's house for dinner and expensive wine. He'd ordered an Uber, come out to get it, and that, as is the way in these
then they thought it was going to take 20 minutes.
It cancelled.
Yeah.
So he had to order another one. Yeah. That cancelled on him. He ordered a third one, and by then he was getting very, very desperate.
No wonder he was cancelled, right? The Uber drivers are like, Peter Mandelson?
No
I don't think so.
Exactly right.
Does this mean that George Osborne doesn't have a toilet in his house? I mean, could he have not gone to the
Well,
toilet
no,
before
but
he
you
left?
see, he left to get the Uber.
Waited outside. Could he have not?
And then
the issue with Osborne's house is every toilet is full to the brim of crap and BS. Okay, all the plumbing's knackered because of the amount of effluent that man produces.
I find it boggling that people actually get fines for this. I see this all the time. Have you told me that you've never been caught short? No, Streatham. All the time.
Hang on a second. Let's put this to the vote.
It's almost like this is political.
Who amongst us hasn't taken a pee outside?
I hate it.
We've all done it, haven't
Full
we?
disclosure, I'm pissing as we speak.
Yeah.
Is it still Peter? Is it still? Sorry to interrupt there, but is it still legal for a pregnant lady to go in a policeman's helmet?
What? It's compulsory. It's compulsory.
But
they all have to do it.
That's one of these arcane laws.
That's not a thing.
If a pregnant...
there used to be this law, didn't there? Another arcane law that you could take a pee on the inside left wheel of your car because it dates back to horses.
In 1909?
Horses and carts in medieval times.
So, Peter, has anyone ever taken a pee in your helmet?
No, they haven't. But what I say is, me and my mates, we now call it having a Mandy, right? We're going for a pint tonight, so if you get caught short on the way home, it's having a Mandy.
Going out for a Mandy is a very different thing in some circles as well.
And no female members of the public have ever troubled your helmet.
Live from London, it's Plank of the Week with Kevin O'Sullivan.
Let's move on. It's my go now. It's my go. And I'm nominating a woman called Emily Spurrell. She is the chairwoman of the Association of Police and Crime Commissioners. Now, she has announced that she doesn't like St George's flags. She thinks they're tools of division and intimidation, and they sow fear, hate, and division. They're fueling division, so she doesn't want to see any St George's flags. This is a police crime commissioner, in fact, the top police crime commissioner in the country. I am so sick of hearing this wokery amid our police forces. No, thankfully, Emily, quite rightly, in my view, will soon be out of a job because they're cancelling these useless, ineffective, invariably woke left-wing police commissioners because they haven't achieved anything. Right, Pete?
They are indeed going to abolish the role, which I thought good news when the policing minister announced it last week. But then in the same breath, she said they're going to give the powers to mayors. Well, Sadiq Khan's the Police and Crime Commissioner in London, and how are the Met getting on at the moment?
Yeah, but that might be the exception just because it's Sadiq Khan, actually. So, I mean, look, someone has to be electorally accountable, I think, for the police, because it's certainly not the Home Secretary, this one or the last 5 or 6. So I think there has to be an element of...
Well, the police authorities that preceded...
Did we used to bother with that?
The police authorities that used to precede police and crime commissioners did a job, all right. There was too much cozying up. And that is the problem. There is too much cozying up by those who are supposed to hold the police accountable. That's the problem. You actually need quite a prickly relationship, so you can ask the difficult questions
and be willing
and put them on the spot.
Be willing to fire the chief constable, which the police and crime commissioner or the mayor is able to do. That's what I would do.
Yeah, but I don't think that has ever happened. Police commissioners have been an all-round disaster, haven't they?
Yeah, police and crime commissioners have, since 2012 when they came in. Another daft.
Because they're on there when you go to vote in elections, they're on the ballot, aren't they, at the bottom?
Well, I can tell you,
people never know who they are.
In Essex, when the police and crime commissioner, or the police fire and crime commissioner, as he is now, was elected, he stood on his own outside of other elections, and he received, I think, the total turnout for that election was 17%.
Yeah.
Wow. Exactly. People couldn't care less. And the Essex guy, he's the one who leapt to the defence of the police chief.
Let me get started on Roger
for knocking on people's doors on Remembrance Sunday and saying you sent a tweet.
He's done 2 things. First of all, yes, he not only was the police and crime commissioner that effectively oversees the force that knocked on Alison Pearson's door, he then went onto the radio the next day and defended the action, saying, well, she committed a crime, which was fundamentally untrue. But he's also the police and crime commissioner responsible for the force that marched the masked Antifa thugs from Epping Station to the Bell Hotel so that they could confront the peaceful pink lady mothers and grandmothers that were rather concerned about the migrants in that particular establishment raping our children. And again, the Chief Constable, Ben Julian Harrington, and Roger Hurst, the Essex Police and Crime Commissioner, defended that disgraceful action.
Ben Julian Harrington's a disaster. He's the one who sent the coppers round to Alison Pearson's house.
He's the one I would fire.
And then everybody went crazy. This is ridiculous. All politicians, even Labour politicians, said. I remember Rachel Reeves saying that the police should find better things to do than harass people for year-old tweets. Everybody said this is nonsense. Ben Julian Harrington and the Police Crime Commissioner in Essex said they were totally justified. This was a great thing to do.
You had me at his surname, Julian Harrington.
Ben Julian.
Ben Julian.
Was that bloody hell?
I think his first name is Ben Julian.
Yes, his first name is
Ben Julian.
That's the poshest thing you've ever heard.
It's a new level. What we need to do, if I look at this legend next to me, right, we need to go back to old school policing, right, where officers could follow their gut instinct, not worry about silly little things like evidence, okay? Looks like a wrong un is good enough for me.
Exactly right.
You've got zero chance of that. I went to a meeting, big glam meeting held by the Metropolitan Police in our borough last week, and you know what? A superintendent stood up to an audience of the public and said, we cannot arrest ourselves out of the shoplifting problem.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, how are you going to do it then?
Might be a thought.
I have a solution. In the last few days, I've actually caught a shoplifter.
You went viral with it.
I ran after
At a petrol station.
because I'd been into that shop a number of times, and the manager had remonstrated, look, this place is full of shoplifters. They come in several times a day and nick very expensive things. Not baby food for their kids, not beans and bread for beans on toast at home, but steak, bottles of claret, that kind of thing. That's where I live, by the way. BP stations in my area do sell steak and claret, I can tell you. So he said, I'm at my wit's end. I call them, they don't turn up. So I happened to be in there the other day, and I saw someone come in, stuff a load of steaks in their jacket, a load of ham down their trousers, and he walked out. I stopped him. He ran, and at 57 years old, I'm very proud of this, by the way. I ran after him, I caught him, and took the goods back to the manager.
How old was he? About 8?
He was, 25.
You got hold of the goods. What did you do?
How old was he then, Russell?
He was in his 20s, I guess. And as I'm running after him, I said, I'm going to keep running, thinking, please stop.
So did he stop, or
No,
did you?
He stopped, and I grabbed the stuff. I said, look, I can either take you back, and then I thought, I had a pang of kind of reality where I thought, if I take you back and sit on you, I'll be sitting on you for a long, long time on the basis.
I mean, that'd be George Floyd times two.
The police are not going to turn up, right?
Exactly.
So I
You've got a bottle of claret, so
grabbed the stuff.
I took it back.
So you took the meat and the claret, and you got in your car and drove home.
Free dinner.
I think being
Vicarious shoplifting.
Yeah, I took it back to the manager.
I think that being sat on by Russell Quirk is punishment in itself, by the way.
Well, some people have paid good money for that, Mark.
Too right. And by the way, so you managed to reclaim all this meat. Did you have the world's biggest barbecue?
No, I gave it back, and hopefully they put it back.
Just
on the
did
shelf.
that joke, Mark. Thanks very much.
I hope they didn't put it back on the shelf, because if the ham went down his trousers, I don't want his ham trouser.
Well, I think it was sealed. It'll be all right. It'll be fine.
Brilliant.
Spicy ham.
But if it wasn't sealed,
Was he dead meat by the end?
Was he dead meat? Yeah, the stakes were high.
Oh, there you go. With my high five. Nicely done. Your turn, Peter. Is it a silly sausage? Okay.
Now, it is Peter's
meat
turn,
type.
who, as you can see, well, until now, he's done all of his clothes shopping at Tesco, but now you've got a problem with that department store, with that supermarket.
Your envy over my attire is so blatantly obvious. Can't you disguise
I am a bit envious of that. That's a hell of a
Can't you disguise
jacket.
it?
I've
Thank
seen
you.
it before. It's great.
Thank you. Every little helps, so Tesco say. Right?
But sorry,
Anyway,
Pete, for those that don't know, it's peacocks, isn't it?
they're peacock feathers, yeah.
Proud as a peacock.
Well,
I must say, when you came in, I did think, what a cock. And the detail on it is fantastic.
you can't stop talking about cock on my own.
Yeah, what is
You're
this?
an attractive man, let me tell you.
Hey.
You're in your renaissance.
Anyway,
Stalking me.
enough of
sexual
Peter's
chemistry,
cocks.
yeah.
Let's talk about Tesco's. What's the
What do
problem?
we do at Christmas in terms of trees? We go and buy one, don't we? Or we get one out the loft and we stick it somewhere in our house and we decorate it and we celebrate it, and it's a thing
tradition,
of
isn't it?
loveliness. It very much is. Tesco's are now selling a 6-foot tall tree, not a real one, but one that you can put away and get out each year. But they're not calling it a Christmas tree.
Of course
not. No. They're calling it an evergreen tree. Now, as far as I'm
There it
concerned...
is. There's the evergreen tree.
Yes. As far as I'm concerned, the word evergreen should only ever be sung by Barbara Streisand. Anybody remember that song?
No, you're much older than all of us.
Well, it's
Neither that old nor that gay.
It's a beautiful, beautiful song with that velvety, amazing voice of Barbara Streisand's, which I'll now try and imitate.
Oh, God.
Ageless and ever.
What is that?
Green. Look it up on Spotify.
Thanks, Sir Peter.
Evergreen. Great track.
Don't call us.
Is that your Christmas single? Is it?
Yes,
to release.
Bleksley's Christmas single. Also, Tesco, they seem to have an aversion to the word Christmas. Instead of Christmas mince pies, they've got merry mince pies. What is wrong with this store?
And they've got
Who do they think they're going to be offending with the word Christmas?
And don't forget their festive slices. Yeah, festive slices.
But you know what stuns me about all this? Is you know what they're getting at? Oh, we don't want to offend Muslims or Jewish people, like people who aren't Christians. As if Muslims and Christians are these sort of, febrile, completely unreasonable people. They called those pies Christmas, right? Who's going to get angry about that?
And also, can you imagine the reaction if these, rather big brands stopped mentioning Diwali or Eid? Of course, they never would when they've got signage in their shops going, Happy Diwali, Happy Eid. But Christmas has been cancelled.
I think it's probably easier than that. They call them festive so that they can sell them all year round and make more money.
Well, hang on a second. So
I don't want a Christmas tree in February.
Yeah, I mean,
No. I mean the festive slices. You can just keep on calling them
I
festive
suppose so,
slices.
but I don't think summer doesn't seem like festive to me.
No, but you probably sell them throughout the winter. So
Yeah, but that isn't why they're doing it.
You're not
is
going to
it?
buy Christmas mince
Yeah, but
pie.
Dave, that
in
isn't why
February.
they're doing
They're
it.
getting rid of
You
the
know
word.
why they're doing
They're
it.
getting rid of the word Christmas because it's British and it's Christian.
Well,
and those two things are unacceptable now.
They're
assuming-
doing it because the corporate organisations that they are have got a load of woke people at
Yeah,
the top
yeah.
that think that it might be
Yes,
offensive.
exactly
and that
right.
They need to tick a box
Called
to make
Ben-
sure
they're all called
that
Ben-
they,
Ben Julian.
they overreach just in case one person that isn't a Muslim or a Jew, by the way, but is a left winger.
They're assuming
might be offended on
offence.
behalf
Aren't they?
of
They're
those people.
assuming offence that
Yes.
won't be taken.
Yeah, it's
In
pathetic.
fairness, you're assuming that's the reason. I think it's probably more for their
I'm not
profit
assuming that
margins
is
that
the
they can
reason,
flog
Dave. I'm
more
not
of them
assuming.
throughout
Dave
the
thinks
winter.
it's because
It's
people
just
are-
ridiculous.
No.
Oh, what? So they can
Bracket.
sell evergreen trees in summer?
No, and we all like a mince pie in August.
No. The word festive is shorthand for Christmas. It's politically correct shorthand. And it's basically the erasing of our culture and our traditions.
No, but there is a precedent for this. That winter festival. The reason they called it winter was so that it could go
it was in the
January,
winter.
February, and
I'll
March
let you have the
as well.
the winter festival,
post-Christmas.
maybe.
Yeah, well, you can't
everyone
call
was
it
like,
winter in the
political
summer,
correctness.
can you? August, winter doesn't work, does it?
It won't be long.
No,
before-
because that's why they didn't do it in summer and spring.
No, but I think relabelling Christmas trees as not Christmas trees is a whole different level of stupidity.
I wasn't talking about, and I agree with that. I'm talking about the festive slices and stuff. The reason they do that is so they can increase their bottom line.
Dave, stop talking about festive
You can't
slices.
get a
We've had
mince
enough
pie.
of your festive slices.
By the way,
claptrap. Dolan,
Yeah.
it is you next. Please, again, the clock.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. And it's complete madness, right? This is WhatsApp, which quite often ends careers, doesn't it? But what it's done is it's earned a couple, just ordinary parents concerned about the welfare of their daughter at a primary school. They've made £20,000 in compensation from the police. Because,
Not enough, I don't think.
Well, probably
But
not.
carry
no.
on, Mark.
What happened is that their home was raided by 6 police officers in early January. Why does it take so many cops, by the way, to visit these houses when one would do? Ideally, one of those
none
pretend
would do.
coppers.
None would do.
Community support. But anyway, 8 turn up. And what they've done is they've said that this was harassment. Because what you were doing is you're on a WhatsApp group complaining about the head teacher, worrying about the recruitment policies of the school, and worried about the welfare of their disabled daughter.
Yeah, it's a very minor thing. It was like parents discussing whether or not their kids were getting good lessons, whether the teachers were good enough. As you say, these poor people. One of them, the guy is a producer, radio producer, works in this building, I think.
Yeah.
But here they are getting arrested, by the way.
6 police officers gathered outside their home in Boreham Wood last January. Rosalind Levine and Maxie Allen feared they'd come bearing terrible news, a frightening moment they shared with this programme.
Honestly, my first thought was that my daughter was dead and that they'd come to tell me. I couldn't think of any other reason why there would be 6 officers at my door.
Instead, they'd come to arrest them due to complaints the couple had made on social media surrounding her primary school.
It's ridiculous. I don't think £20,000 is enough for that.
I've had enough. But
don't you
it
think
should be thousands.
But this also now sets a lovely precedent, I think. It isn't enough, I agree. But given that there are thousands and thousands of people arrested for tweets and for being nasty and offensive in WhatsApp groups and on Facebook and so on, I hope now that this starts an absolute avalanche of compensation claims against the police, because it doesn't seem there's any accountability in terms of this ridiculous non-crime hate incident rubbish. The Lucy Connollys of this world, Peter Lynch, who's dead, by the way, after having been put in prison for a tweet. There are still lots and lots of people in prison, by the way, for so-called
Took his
offensive
own
tweets.
life.
Yes. So I think that this actually, a bit like in the US, if you get wrongfully arrested, you get huge compensation. This might actually focus the minds of the police.
Unfortunately, who's going to pay that?
We are, but they're
that's the
accountable
way it
for
goes.
It
You know,
comes out
that's
their
the way
budget.
But what it might do is change
don't mind that.
change the culture of policing. And I've got to say, I feel that when the police started to lose, it was during COVID, when they were enforcing the ridiculous COVID rules that have destroyed the country, including arresting a lady sat on a bench drinking a coffee on her own at the seaside.
Yeah, I reported her.
Grabbing. You're one of those neighbours at the window going, Mrs. Robinson's had 2 walks today.
Is that the police? There's someone sunbathing on the...
That's when
Could you come immediately?
That's when it started.
999.
So there was COVID, crazy policing of the COVID measures. Then we had the BLM, and the police allowed that to happen while we were all socially distanced.
By
but that
larger
was okay.
mansions.
And taking the knee, of course, and all the woke stuff, the rainbow cars, and now here we are, 20 grand compensation for this ridiculous waste of everyone's time.
I was just thinking, people in your day as a copper, if they just said to you, get round to these people's house, take 5 of your colleagues and bang down the front door because they're in a WhatsApp group and they've complained about the local school. What would you have thought? I mean, can you believe the police?
In my time in policing, albeit a long time ago, funnily enough, we had this old-fashioned concept whereby we were taught the law. Yeah. So we actually knew what the law was and what constituted a crime and evidence.
And what didn't.
And what didn't. And of course, in this situation, somebody should have just looked at it and gone, there's not a crime here.
Wait, so,
bin it off.
So police aren't taught the law at all whatsoever? No police are not taught any law?
Not to the extent and in the depth that they need to be.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
wow.
They never know what they're talking about when they confront someone who knows their rights.
This is why these auditors embarrass them so much, because they stand up and the police officer say, you can't do that, and they'll say, under what authority, and then so many of them.
And then you do need to look at the laws as well, because a lot of the laws, like in COVID, were stupid. I criticised the cops for arresting a lady with a cup, but they were technically sort of, pursuing like the rules, but the rules are stupid too in a lot of cases, aren't they?
The law is an ass.
There you go.
Right, folks. Unfortunately, Peter's got to dash off, haven't you, Peter? Well, look, you've got a sterling contribution to this excellent show. So farewell to Mr. Bleksley. Thank you once again. Brilliant performance. And we'll be back in just a little while.
Live from London, it's Plank of the Week with Kevin O'Sullivan.
Welcome back. This is Plank of the Week. We've lost Peter Bleksley, but we've still got Dave Chawner, Russell Quirk and Mark Dolan. What more could we ask for? And next up with his nomination for Plank of the Week is Mr. Quirk. What have you got?
My nomination is a Miss Deborah Meaden of Dragon's Den fame. She has said...
She put the dragon into the den, yeah.
I was going to say that. I thought I wouldn't be allowed to say it, but yes.
That's a just... I know Deborah Meaden. She's a very nice lady, but I'm with you on
I
this.
don't know about this one, mate.
Wait a minute. Hang on. She might be nice.
No.
She might be nice, but from a business perspective, she is a horror.
Wait a minute, Kevin. You gave me dog's abuse for saying that Angela Rayner.
Yeah, but you don't know Angela Rayner. That's different. You don't know Angela Rayner. I do know Deborah Meaden.
Well, I've been watching her for years.
Personally.
She is a poisonous, toxic, woke so-and-so.
No, she's a very nice lady, but I agree with you about her politics. And Russell is on a roll, so carry on. Let Russell finish.
Can I go with Deborah Meaden? I'm out.
Yeah.
Can I get back to slagging off
Go on
Meaden?
You're not going to win that. He's judge, jury and executioner.
Anyway.
I won't be investing.
Come on.
Anyway.
Shut up, everyone. Let Russell speak.
So, Deborah Meaden has come out in support of Zack Polanski.
I know.
Not his real name, by the way. His name's
David
Steve.
Polden.
I thought his name was
David.
Steve.
No, it's David Polden.
Yeah. He of the knack of pretending that he can make women's breasts larger just by hypnotising them. That's the sort of calibre of the leader of the Green Party.
I thought he could do that.
Well, I haven't seen.
I will say
it was a particular
Anyway,
talent.
by the way, that
It's a hobby.
Full disclosure, I keep trying to invite him round for dinner, but anyhow.
Your breasts are fine, Mark. I don't think you need to do that, actually.
Yeah,
I think you're fine.
I've got a
anyway,
big
so
ones here.
look, Deborah Meaden, as we know, is a very, very wealthy individual, very, very successful, fair play to her. But we have a backdrop that is UK PLC, which is, as I've explained, business sentiment is on the floor. We've seen national insurance rises, we've seen capital gains tax and corporation tax rises and so on. Business sentiment is not in a good place. What does Deborah Meaden say just a few days ago? That actually she thinks not only should businesses pay a lot more tax, but that the government, in her words, should help them to pay more tax. Well, my message to Deborah Meaden is, go ahead. Why don't you contribute some of your enormous wealth to the Exchequer, to HM Treasury, on your own? You can do that. There is an actual page on the Treasury website that allows you to donate more money to the Treasury. So rather than trying to persuade these poor beleaguered SMEs and entrepreneurs to give even more of their hard-earned money away at a very, very tough time, Deborah, why don't you lead by example and donate all of your money to the Treasury, and I will look forward to seeing it spent on the NHS.
But truly, she's meaning more like people like Google or Starbucks. That sort of
businesses.
It's all businesses. And here is Deborah talking about her hero, Zack Polanski.
I'd like to see him get more seats. So he has a stronger voice. But I do like his clarity of voice. I really like his clarity of voice.
But he hates you guys, don't they? That side of politics hate
I don't
business
think he
owners.
does.
They hate entrepreneurs. They hate capitalism. They hate people making money. They think it's an evil.
I don't hear that. I don't hear that. I think he likes good business.
Shall we move on, shall we? It is Dave Chawner.
Ironically, mine's about money for old rope because David Shrigley is an artist. He's done this exhibit, which is called Money for Old Rope, and he's selling it for £1 million.
And that's it.
This is where modern art is now. This is what classes as art.
But you know what's interesting about it is the art is the joke of the sale.
Yeah.
You remember Banksy's not so long ago?
Damien Hirst.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's Banksy. You bought the painting for £1 million or $1 million. It was in New York, and the moment the person bought it, it went through the shredder.
It dissolved. Yeah.
Damien Hirst.
Well, the other one was Tracy Emin and the Unmade Bed, which was pathetic, but sold for millions of pounds.
Well, it's like Andy Warhol said, the only art is the art of making money. And that is literally what is going on here. Of like, he's just got loads of old rope.
Tracy Emin's Unmade Bed is quite interesting. Really? I mean, she's got a tent with all these names on it, and it's called Everyone I Ever Slept With. And when you see Everyone I Ever Slept With, you just spend hours reading it.
But is that actually
If I did that,
the
it would be
name
very
of that
short.
particular piece? Is it actually called?
Yeah, it's called.
I think it's actually called something.
That's quite clever.
But that's what the pop art, the Brit pop artists of the 90s.
Banksy,
and you know, Tracy Emin and all that lot, Damien Hirst. A lot of their art was based around funny quips.
Yeah. It was, but in a way, they're trolling us by calling it old rope.
They're doing exactly that.
Yeah, 100. But the thing that gets me about this is like, I always used to defend stuff like this, and it's nice to like chat about. But if you go to the Tate Modern. And you just look at that. There's no experience there. You're just looking at old rope.
But
and then you're like,
right. To stand behind the people that are actually standing there admiring it.
Nice work if you can get it. Let's go to break.
Live from London, it's Plank of the Week with Kevin O'Sullivan.
Welcome back. This is the final section of this week's Plank of the Week, and it's me. And I'm going to nominate for the third time Angela Rayner. Anything to say, Mark?
Well, don't get me started on the ginger.
No, I think you're right. I won't get you started on Angela Rayner. You've said far too much about her already. My nomination is Rachel Reeves, who last week sort of U-turned on what she was going to do, which was to impose an income tax rise on all of us, the income tax rise that she said she would never do in the Labour manifesto. So she U-turned on that, and in its stead, that's because Starmer's terrified. Oh, blimey, if we put income tax on, that'll make me even more unpopular. No, Rach, you can't do that. So she's had to come up with this kind of mosaic, this smorgasbord of loads of little taxes, which are going to be an absolute disaster. Most of them will be difficult to collect.
Yep, exactly.
It really is a mess. But that's what she's going to raise a massive amount, or try to raise a massive amount of money with a massive amount of taxes. And one of them is the milkshake tax. She really is going to tax milkshakes. Now, milkshakes have a very special place in my heart. Because I once made a video. It was based on Nigel Farage getting that milkshake thrown in his face. So I recreated it, and it was my biggest hit of my hit-strewn life. Got about like 5 million views. Have a look at it.
Oi! Come back here, you banana bastard!
That was Abby, my brilliant PA at the time. And you said that I got a lot of stick for that kind of rather rubbishy running. And what it was that Abby Balkin, she's not a particularly... She wasn't... See what I mean? She's going slowly. So I thought
slow down.
if I break into a sort of Russell Quirk style...
Shoplifter
sprint, I'm going to catch her too early. Do you know what I think is? I think I look pretty cool before I get the.
You did, a bit of a rock star.
Yeah,
That was off the back of what happened to Nigel Farage, right?
Yeah, that was based on that.
But luckily, you can now use it again today as a backdrop to the milkshake tax.
Exactly, the milkshake tax. Brilliant. The word milkshake has given rise.
Is there anything that Rachel Reeves won't tax?
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the point, Russell. That's the problem.
Yeah.
She'll be taxing this, that, and the other. Loads and loads of little taxes to replace the income tax rise that she was going to do. Now, I don't celebrate the idea of an income tax rise, but actually, even though it breaks their promise, it would have been better for the country.
But it would have been the first time since the 1970s, actually, that the basic rate of tax had been increased. It would have broken the manifesto promise. The other thing in the property industry that everyone's worried about, of course, is the mansion tax. And the reason they're worried about it is because it won't apply to mansions. It'll apply to anything over £1.5 million, which is just about every house in London.
Yep, pretty wild.
Just to go back to the milkshake tax, is that literally just a tax on just milkshakes?
Yeah.
And if so, why? And how's she going to claim
Well, don't
that?
you remember George Osborne's pasty tax?
Yes.
They put.
They
but
rolled
this
back
is
on.
similar system.
Rolled back on.
You know, this is what cowardly chancellors do. Rather than say, right, I'm putting your income tax back, they say, no, I'm going to preserve you. Everything's going to be cool. I'm not going to tax you. I'm not going to tax you like you
thought
thought I
all coming
might.
from
and then they tax everything else.
All coming from the kind of the weird brain of Morgan McSweeney. I mean, isn't he the guy that's behind
I think it is. And what you're going to do with these little taxes, a lot of them they'll be avoided with good accountancy. And you're going to annoy lots and lots of little groups. We saw that with the farmers. So the banana milkshake lobby will be up in arms.
But you're exactly right. The farmers' inheritance tax, for example,
crazy,
is exactly the kind of periphery tax that they're going to be imposing on all sorts of people.
As a PR guy, I've got to encourage one of my clients to dress up as Ronald McDonald and stand outside the Treasury on November the 26th to protest against the milkshake tax.
That's a great idea.
Well, Quickie, the Nesquik Bunny, because they do a range of milkshakes as well. There's Nesquik Bunny.
Or bring back Banana Man. Do you remember Banana Man? Let's do that.
Yeah.
I do believe it is time for me to pick the winner. I'm going to go, because I like this story, I'm going to go for Dave Chawner and Lord Mandelson peeing against the wall. So,
can I just say this is the happiest day of my life?
Peter Mandelson and Dave Chawner, this is your life.
First thing is ever.
Thank you so much to our remaining panel, the great Angela Rayner obsessed Mark Dolan,
Go Ginger Growler,
the excellent Russell Quirk, and my old friend Dave Chawner. Thank you very much. We'll be back next week for another edition of Plank of the Week.